There are 3 habits that I refuse to do that allow me to make consistent progress towards my goals. I hate them because they caused me to make such huge mistakes that eventually led to a loss of momentum. As a result, I had then lost my way, got into a depression, and I had to start from the bottom again. I don't want you to go through the same as I did, because I want you to rise above and to make consistent progress towards your goals, instead of ending up in the same position that I was in. So see this as an opportunity to learn from the mistakes of someone else. So you should refuse to lie. You should refuse to indulge in instant gratification and to go against your core values. Avoiding these increases your chances of living a fulfilling life and making consistent progress towards the goals that you want to achieve. So let me bring you back to 2022, where these 3 habits led to a series of events that got me to lose the momentum that I was building up. At the beginning of 2022, I was coming out of a deep depression. I had spent 2.5 years in a relationship with a girl that I didn't want to be with. There was a time where I then suddenly had a realization in my garden, where I was so high and I realized like, whoa, what am I doing? I really need to get out of this. This is the only opportunity that I have where I can change myself. And it was around the same time as right now. It was the beginning of January. So I started to align everything that I needed to do. I started to address my goals. I started to address my strong motivator. I started to address the consequences that were linked to me not doing the habits that I needed to do in order to get where I wanted to go. And I started to also see the benefits and address the benefits of what the habits would give me as a result of doing them. I started to reflect upon them. I started to journal deeply about everything that it was that I was doing. So after 2 months of doing that, I eventually broke up with that girl. I'd stopped smoking weed successfully. I'd stopped playing video games. And I was setting my way up to become so disciplined. And I started to become disciplined. I started to do the disciplined habits. I started to reject smoking weed, to reject playing video games. I went to bed on time. I got up on time. And so the journey of me started to building up momentum, to becoming consistent and building momentum towards achieving the goals that I wanted to achieve, to become the man that I finally wanted to be. I started taking on risks. I started taking on challenges. I was going for a promotion at work, and I was doing everything within my given power to make sure that I was getting that promotion because I felt like I deserved it. I had something to make up for myself. So I needed to do it. Eventually, a couple of months later, I got that promotion. I became a shift leader. I had a team of 13 people that I could coach, that I could motivate, that I could help, people who I was of service to. But yet the accomplishment of that goal eventually led to my downfall because I had gotten the momentum. My social skills were improving daily because I was working in retail, and I was challenging myself every day to be talking to X amount of people. I was getting very comfortable with talking to women, which I didn't before, and I was constantly being introduced to new women every day. And that made me gain confidence because talking to a lot of beautiful women made me not see them as a threat, which before I did because I was so insecure about myself. I didn't know that I had that skill of just being a normal human, a normal guy, like a quite confident guy. And achieving that role eventually led me to gain even more confidence because I knew that I could get things done. But I haven't had that many accomplishments before in my life, so the high that I've had of that accomplishment, that eventually led me to make a series of decisions that weren't really good. I was making a bit more money than before, but I wanted more. And so as I was working in a retail store, there were sneakers that were being exclusively sold on a given day, and they can only be released at a given time. And I had so much power and I had so much momentum and so much confidence that I started to do something that I shouldn't do that went against my core values. I started to backdoor those sneakers, and I did that multiple times. I was the head leader. I could have my phone with me on the floor, and I was messaging the resellers, and I was backdooring the sneakers for them, making sure that they had the sneakers and not the normal customer who desired to have those sneakers, who didn't even have intentions of reselling that item. And yeah, as a result, I could also have a couple of those sneakers and I could sell them myself. And I would then make extra money every month that I could then use to invest. But that wasn't the right way to go because I was being inauthentic and I was being a dishonest man. Like, I have integrity. I mean, that is what I live up to have integrity, to live up to your values, to live up to your morals. Honesty is one of them. But at that moment, I wasn't being honest because I was fooling a lot of people, including the head manager, the assistant store manager, my team even. And at that moment, I was brushing it off. I was like, nah, fuck it. I need this money. I have to think about myself. I have to be a bit selfish. My ego was convincing me that I was untouchable, that nobody could do me nothing. And if I were to be interrogated by my store manager, that I would have a good protection layer over me. Because I would tell them, oh, it was specifically for the conversion. And I'm not getting anything out of it, and there the line continues. And eventually I did get interrogated because I was caught on camera backdooring sneakers, like in a crazy way. You know, you had like the till, and the till had like layers, like planks, and I would put the sneakers there, and you would then see me like put boxes of sneakers on the till, scanning them one by one and making it seem like it's a legit transaction, but it wasn't because you could just see it on camera. Like the camera was just pointing at the till, and I just made that stupid decision to do that. And then I even decided to lie about that as well. I lie about my intention behind of it. And what do you think happened from that? I got fired. And I lost my job. Something that I'd worked so hard for. Like I was going through so much discomfort and I was building up so much momentum in myself and so much confidence. And it just got taken away like that just because I went against my core values. I lied and I desired instant gratification. I desired to have that instant win of making a little bit of money, but at the cost of my core values, of being honest, of having integrity, of being disciplined. And instead of doing it in that way, why not just improve my skills and work my way up to being an assistant store manager or start my own business, which I desired back then, but I wasn't making the right decisions and I didn't have the right skills yet to be able to do that. And I was being impatient again. And that impatience got me to make such fucked up decisions. Lying didn't get me anywhere. And you know, the story doesn't end there, because that then eventually led me to lose even more momentum, because I then lost my job and I decided to go all in on music. I saw that opportunity like, okay, I have some money saved up now from the reselling. All the other sneakers that I've had, I resold them even more so that I had like a buffer for like a year so that I can cover all the bills that I had at home and focus fully on music and investing all of my money into music. Which I did eventually. I started to go super hard on music, wanted to record music videos. I hit up John, which was a very good friend of mine, and still is a very good friend of mine. And he wanted to quit his job as well. He actually did quit his job in order to pursue videography as a freelancer. I was his first client. I was like, all right, let's make it work, you know? We both quit our jobs. Well, I got fired, but you quit your job. Let's make something out of the passion that we have. Let's make something out of the vision that we have. So we started to work together and we had such an amazing time. You know, I've learned so much by working with him, like seeing what it's like to be an entrepreneur, seeing what it's like to lead a team, because we then had music videos where we had a team of 8 people where everything needed to be coordinated, and it was an amazing experience. But there came a point where I was running dry on money. And so I needed more money. And at that same time, music wasn't really going to do it for me. I realized that I didn't want to do music anymore because I was becoming more religious, and I realized that music isn't really aligned, especially the music that I was making and the environment that I was in wasn't really aligned to the values that represent religion. So something had to change. Either I was going to continue to go against my core values, or I was going to try and do it right and step by step redeem myself to not choose the instant gratification route. And I then started to apply for jobs, which then 2 employers reached out to me. I had like a whole interview with this one employer, which was for a tech store, but it was a part-time job. And I still wanted to work a part-time job so that I can then still focus on music, even though I was unsure about what it is that I wanted to do. Yet a bit of instant gratification then still got to me, because there was another job that I had applied to, and I had gotten the confirmation that I could start doing the course for it. So I chose that. I called the tech store and I said, listen, I'm not going to make it work. There's a different job that I want to do. And so I made sure to end that off properly so that there were no loose ends. But the job that I'd chosen was a job that paid me better, but it was simply for the short term, because I just wanted to make a lot of money so that I could then propose to the woman that I wanted to marry and align myself more to the values of religion. But this job was not the job that I wanted to work. I had no long-term vision for it. I wanted to make a couple of thousands of euros and then just leave. For me at the time, it sounded logical. Like it sounded so easy for me, and yet it wasn't the right decision, because I again kind of went against what I wanted for myself. Okay, it was a full-time job. I'm somebody who aims for discomfort. I'm somebody who aims to sacrifice things in order to achieve certain goals. You know, I've went through a lot of discomfort. I even had to shave my beard. Before starting my course, I uploaded my first YouTube video, which you can still watch. It's still available on the channel. You can go to the 3 bars where it says latest or popular and whatever, and then oldest. So click on the oldest, and the first video that you see there, which is like a vertical video, that's the first video that I've uploaded. That was like a couple of days before I went into the course. And after that, I'd shaven my beard. I'd started the course, and I hadn't uploaded a video because I didn't believe that YouTube was going to be the thing that I was going to do. I was still insecure about where I wanted to go, somewhere I still wanted to do music, but at the same time, I knew that I didn't really feel the connection anymore. And in that first video, I also mentioned that there's something different that I want to do with myself, and that is to be a sacrifice. If I'm correct, that is exactly what I said. I started working that job, freshly shaven. I felt ashamed, didn't even want to come outside, simply because I think I looked awkward. and I kept doing that job up until June. It was a disgusting job, you know. I was working in a safety environment, and I had to wear like this mask and provide like first aid to people who would go into these silos. I think that's the right word, into these silos. And they would either be welders or tubists or whatever. They'd be doing something. And if they would lose consciousness, I would be the person who would enter that and provide them first aid until the fire watchers came and everything. So I was a safety guard. Like, I needed to wear like these suits, like these yellow suits, hazmat suits basically, that you see in Breaking Bad. But let me tell you one thing, like the buildings that we were in, they were hot. So I had to wear that suit and I was sweating. I was sweating so much. Like there was these shutdowns. Shutdowns meant that the installations were shut down for a given amount of time in order to do like some tech adjustments, in order to clean it or whatever, because it needed a revision. And at that time, I was working with other people, and during those shutdowns, you get like grouped up with a lot of men, and you're all doing the same job, and you just sit, and there's just a lot of jobs that need to be completed. And every time a job came, we were like, is it with a hazmat suit? Is it not without a hazmat suit? And everybody who knew that it was without a hazmat suit just started to fight for that, because at a given point we started to call it like the sweatsuit. And it was insane. Like, it was absurd. Like, you would go in there without any clothing, just in your underwear. And only after 15 minutes of being in that, you would be completely wet. Your underwear would be soaked. You could just rinse it out completely. And a lot of the sweat that was on there was just dripping out of it. And that is how you had to survive the rest of the day. And there were often times that people were there for like 1, 2, even 3 hours at one job in that position with that hazmat suit. And that's insane. Honestly, I was getting sick of like being in that position, of having to work with that suit. So the thoughts of YouTube started to pop up more. And I kind of started to take it a bit more serious. I started to upload a YouTube video a week. My 8th video then eventually got 2.3k views, and I was so happy. And I thought this was it. But to my surprise, it wasn't it. Because I didn't know how I got there. I didn't know how I made sure that I was able to get like 2.3k views. I was just making videos randomly about topics that seemed interesting to me, things that I experienced in my life. And the next videos didn't perform as well. Maybe I got like 50 views, 100 views. But that was like my introduction to like, okay, maybe YouTube could be a thing. But then for some reason I lost momentum. I'd forgotten what my goal was. And I then focused on creating music again. That got me astray. There was a point in June where I wasn't even making music anymore. I'd realized again, like, okay, music isn't gonna be it for me, because it's not aligned with my core values of religion. I had just had that wake-up call again. And I quit my job. I had quit working that full-time job at that safety company. Especially after this moment where I was forced to shave my beard again, because I had grown like this mustache and a little sick. I think that's what it's called in English. And I had to shave that. I was forced to shave it. And that got me so pissed off that after a week of working at that one place, I just disappeared. And I went all in on YouTube and business. And I did that for 2 months. But as that was like an impulsive decision of me, filled with emotion. I didn't have enough money scheduled, like I didn't have enough money built up for me to eventually do that for long term. I also had my marriage coming up at that time. So my money was running dry. My marriage was coming up. So I put a stop on my YouTube. I eventually got married in August. I applied for new jobs. I'm now working a job and it's kind of stabilized. And in October of 2024, I started to upload videos again. I have been uploading 7 videos a week ever since. And today is the 1st of January of 2025. I'm standing here recording another 7 videos that I can upload for the 2nd week of January of 2025. And I know right now what I have to do. I failed at my first attempt of YouTube, but I didn't give up. And after 2 years of having made that huge mistake of choosing instant gratification, lying, and going against my core values, and then bit by bit at the end of 2023 to realign myself with the values and to build myself up again, I can now say that it was worth it. And so I go against doing those 3 habits passionately. Like, I don't even want to be surrounded by people who go against their core values, who choose instant gratification, and who lie to themselves and to other people. I know that I don't want to do that. I know what the price will be if you continuously do that. It's not worth it. If I didn't align myself again to these 3 things by being honest, choosing delayed gratification, and to choose my core values above everything else, I would still be making decisions that would lead to instant gratification. I would probably again start to smoke weed. I would have probably start to masturbate again. I will probably have started to play video games again. And in the month of September of last year, of 2024, I did play video games once. And then I realized, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, no, this goes against my core values. This is not the man that I want to be. And the reason why I started to play video games again was because I had failed my business. And I thought that everything was going to be an ending. I thought that I wasn't going to make it anymore. But then I still grabbed myself together, realized that, okay, this is not how I want to live. And I know what the price will be if I continue to live this way. Got myself together, made it out. And now I'm here working. And I set the goal that by December of 2025, I want to make a full-time income with my business that will replace my full-time job so that I can do this full-time. I had lost my way and I'd found myself again. I have found purpose. And I found purpose by aligning myself to those 3 habits. Being honest, choosing delayed gratification, and to align myself with my core values. And I promise you that if you do that, it will bring great benefits to your life. It may not come instantly, as it didn't really come instantly for me, but it will come. It is guaranteed. And if you know that what you have to do, trust me, you will get there. So this was how misaligning myself with those 3 habits, those 3 behaviors, got me to lose momentum. And by realigning myself to them, has gotten me to find my way again, and has given me clarity in life, and has given me a direction in life. I hope this video has been of value for you. I want to wish you a very nice day, and remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.